Well, hello there, and happy Wednesday to you. Welcome to the Right Hook. I'm Steve Hook, your host. Good to be with you. We got a little bit of a late start. I blame myself for that uh, because we were having some technical issues, but we got it all sorted. Not technical issues. Well, whatever. It's irrelevant. We're here, and I'm glad you are as well. And I'm also glad that Michael Lauber is here. Michael Lauber is joining us. Of course, he is the co-host of the Insurrection every Monday through Friday, right here on Ex American News. And it was good sitting in with you the day before yesterday, Michael. How are you, sir?
Oh, just another day in paradise. We've been getting torrential rains here in Ohio for the last few days and like nonstop thunder. So, if you guys hear my dog barking, he's already sitting here next to me because we got the next batch rolling in.
Oh, great. Well, that means it's probably headed our way too. Usually
Oh,
it
yeah.
goes through. Yeah, it's probably we're probably going to get rain tonight. Anyway, let's talk about the Democratic Party right now because the Democrat Party is kind of in complete free fall as far as I can tell. They initially kind of embraced this far left stuff, and then the DSA started throwing their weight around, and now it looks like Francesca Hong has been screwed over. And I mean, have you heard the story about how that election went down last night? Now it was back and forth. And then the guy that was down double digits in
Yeah.
polling ends up winning. And they 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 use the voting machines, and they have these little basically thumb drives, for lack of a
Yes.
better, that are inserted, and then they're supposed to tabulate everything. And of the nine machines that they were working to, I guess these would be the ones that do all
Tabulators.
the
Yeah.
calculators essentially. Out of the nine of them, five of them, whoops, guess what? We lost we don't have the smart stick or whatever the hell you call those things, and so we can't really provide you with that. But we do know that uh, Hong lost. This
Definitely.
sounds like they Bernied this chick, didn't it? It sounds like they Bernie Sanders this guy, like they did in 2016 to Bernie to take the nomination away from him and hand it to Hillary. Sounds like this same exact story played out.
Oh, yeah. Whatever you want to call them, the uniparty Dems, the deep state Dems, they're getting a taste of their own medicine once again. You'd think some of their voters would have figured this out after Bernie Sanders, but this one's blatantly obvious. Yeah, you shut down counting in the middle of the night. Um, things reverse. I saw this morning that Hong was up again and winning, and then, oh, wait, no, she wasn't. And then we have the five thumb drives from the tabulators that it was miraculously five different people. It was human error five times, more times than it wasn't. How does that happen when they can only get four of them delivered correctly? I mean, it's almost like this is orchestrated and somebody's stealing elections.
Crazy. It would be nice if we had some kind of tight election laws. I don't know, like voter ID and stuff.
Yeah, or
Um,
maybe observers, or maybe we should have people from both parties overseeing the counting. Wisconsin guys, you have more registered voters on your voter database than there are people that live in the state. So you have 9 million people registered to vote in a state with only 7 million population, 7 point something. And certainly not all of them should be able to vote. Maybe two-thirds of the people that live in the state should be able to vote. But for some reason, guys, you have 9 million voters on the voter rolls. Again, it's almost like there's and you guys, you have same day voter registration. Somebody can just walk in, use, a belt buckle for ID and say, I just bought the house on 123 Gumdrop Lane and I'm here to vote. Um,
yeah.
I mean, I'm
And then
exaggerating a little, but not much.
well, and of a state that has a population of under 8 million, and they've got 9 million on the rolls. Now deduct that from the state's population, deduct everyone that's under the age of 18. Deduct them. Because they deduct all the convicted felons. I don't know how
Hmm.
many there are in Wisconsin. Maybe not a lot. It's a pretty small state, but you're never going to get close to 9 million. And then if you say we should tighten these rolls up and we should get all these rolls clean
You
from
racist.
yeah, what are you trying to disenfranchise the illegals or what?
You don't
It's
want
really
women to vote, Steve. That's what it really is. You're just a sexist.
that's what it is. That's what it is. It's just, I mean, it's really
It's
crazy.
a clown show.
Well, put it this way: as recently as last night, everyone basically not on television. The anchors weren't saying this, but if you went on any social media site, they were referring to her as the presumptive nominee
Yes.
because that's how far in front she was as far as the polls were concerned, which tells you a lot about the intelligence level of Wisconsinites. I hate to say it, folks, but if that chick was ever leading, um, then you're just not too bright in that state. I don't know why, but then again, Madison, Wisconsin, it's a college town, and these college kids have been indoctrinated with BS for so long that they would vote for anybody. Better. Once upon a time, it was better dead than red. Now it's you know, better red than red, white, and blue. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very, very odd. But and it's not just what's happened in Wisconsin. I mean, that in and of itself is kind of a shit show that we can all just kind of sit as conservative Republicans. We can sit back and look at it and just laugh and say, look at these idiots who they're putting up. You got El Sayed going, and then you've got this chick Hong, and then you've got Peggy Flanagan uh, running in Minnesota for Senate. And they're not just liberal Democrats. I mean, these people are outspoken socialist, is who they
Hong
are.
is certifiably insane. How many times she had to check herself into the mental institution?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, so there you go. And but this is what they've resorted to. The smart crowd. They'll tell everybody they're smarter than we have more education. Yeah. Well, okay. You got
Yeah.
indoctrinated, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I'd like extra napkins with my latte. That's what you say when they tell us how educated they are.
Well, so we do have some clips here, and one of the reasons that, and I don't care uh, who you are as a Democrat voter, if you can't understand that Hassan Piker is a cancer to your party, then you are part of the problem. Now, I think a lot of Democrats are wisening up to this guy. I mean, obviously, we talked the other day on your show about what's his name, Carville. He's out there buying. I don't want any of these sons of bitches. They're all crazy as hell. You know how he is.
Oh yeah.
Um, and then, of course, you got Bill Maher, and you've got some of the big celeb Democrats that are, and of course, let's not forget John Fetterman. He's a very outspoken against these people. But then you've got people that are trying to kind of embrace them. The Squad comes to mind, AOC, all this, and so Hassan Piker has essentially become the 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 mover and shaker that's creating all this energy for Democrats. At least that's the way I guess some of these far
Yeah.
lefties think. So let's just give everybody a taste of who Hassan Piker is with this clip from a few years ago that he would love to have deleted, but somebody saved it. And here's Hassan Piker from his podcast 2 or 3 years ago. Anyway, cut one.
Unconstitutional. Man, you can fuck and suck me from the back, okay? I fuck the Constitution. I wipe my ass with the Constitution. It's a fucking piece of paper, dude. Shut the fuck up. Motherfuck the Constitution and motherfuck this country, okay? You stupid bitch.
Now there you go. There's
What a
the
lovely
voice.
young man.
Isn't he great? And he's so erudite, and he really is. His conviction, his convictions are so strong. The guy's a puke. I mean, he's an absolute joke. And if I met him face to face, I would tell it to him face to face. And I'm sure he gets it a lot because the bad thing for Hassan Piker is that his rhetoric uh, is starting to get noticed now
Boy,
uh, by by
I bet the
normies.
Democrats are really wishing they would have got behind it and had him canceled and disappeared when he was still electrocuting his dog.
Exactly right. I mean, this guy has got his history is uh, beyond the pale. And that's just one small take. What was that, a 45-second clip
Oh
where
yeah.
he drops the F bomb like 30 times? I wipe my ass with the Constitution. This guy should be deported.
Send him back to Turkey where he belongs. They've lost their village idiot somewhere. They need him back. We'd be doing them a service. But, I don't understand why this guy's not already in jail. We know for a fact he took money from the Chi-Coms and from the Cubans to, enemies of the United States, foreign adversaries. That's already illegal, unlawful. He did remediation work, as he called it, on their part, trying to rehab Cuba's image here. So why don't we just arrest him and then denaturalize and deport him? This seems super easy to me. But I guess, you got to have somebody to actually do it.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're going to start, they would start screaming freedom of speech and all this other crap is what they would say. But it's like, we're not talking about his speech, although that's horrific. It's the fact that he conspired with, our adversaries. So there's your legal.
He's called for the death of numerous politicians, including President Trump, and landlords. So the streets should run red with their blood. This guy's been a problem for a long time, but this is what happens when nobody does anything about it. Now he's a folk hero for these blue-haired moonbats that are taking over the Democrat Party. And like, as you said, kind of hinted at earlier, now you have like AOC is trying to distance herself from woke and from the DSA. She's still a member of her local chapter, by the way. I just checked. She hasn't actually cashed in her member's badge. She's just saying, well, she doesn't approve of what the national part of the DSA is saying, but she's still a loyal operative. This is nothing new. But once again, you will have the media try to run cover for the Democrats. They've been embracing this for years now, moving further and further down this path. Well, what's happening now, though, are the deep state Democrats, the uniparty Democrats. They're starting to realize they are losing control of the party. And that's why they're freaking out and stealing elections now.
Yeah, they are freaking out, and they are losing control of the party. That's true. Speaking of which, and they're also BSing about who these people actually are. They're trying to downplay their socialist, I wouldn't say tendencies. They're full-blown socialist. Come Marxist is who they are. Piker, of course, being probably the most outspoken among them. But, that's why he hangs around with El Said, because El Said is a Marxist. But
they both want to bring on the caliphate, expand the caliphate.
Yeah, global intifada. So Jamie Raskin was on a panel the other day, or I guess he was at a speaking engagement. And here's an example of what I mean. Now, Raskin is a loathsome man in and of his own right. But I never thought that Jamie Raskin was a full-blown socialist. I think he's a full-blown clown, but I never thought he was a full-blown socialist. So what he's trying to do is massage the Democrat voters into thinking that, they're not really that bad. And I wish I could remember where I got this clip, because I should give him credit for it. But I yanked it at the last minute off of X, because it's the juxtaposition of Jamie Raskin trying to reimagine what being socialist is all about, with Zoran Mandami from 2021 blowing his cover. It's pretty funny. Check it out. Cut 2.
And libs of TikTok, by the way.
When the young people today say, I'm a socialist, what do they mean? Okay, do they mean I want to socialize the means of production? I believe in dialectical materialism, and I believe in the dictatorship of the proletariat? I don't think so. I don't think that.
But then there are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it is the end goal of seizing the means of production.
Is he wearing his pajamas?
Yeah, it looks like it. That's his wrap sweater.
Right.
Yeah. So that was Zoran, the current mayor of New York City, because New York City is full of a bunch of morons that elected this guy. But he says our end goal, of course, is seizing the means of productions. You get that, people? That means if you're a lib and you own a coffee shop, and all of you and your pink and blue haired baristas are screaming about how much you love Zoran, he's going to take your coffee shop. That's what he wants to do.
It'll be the people's coffee shop.
It will be the coffee shop for the people, much like his grocery store for the people, which is going to, and all the bodega workers and stuff in Manhattan are losing their mind over this idea. But it doesn't matter. because to Zoran has never done anything in his life. But he knows better than anybody. And so when Jamie Raskin tries to say, what is that what they, and you see the way Jamie Raskin is speaking as if he's saying, see, I know the stuff. I'm intelligent. You're not. And then Zoran Mandami just comes on. We want to seize the means of production. This is, and yeah, hat tip to Libs of TikTok. She's great. But this is what I mean. And this is why Democrats are panicking behind the scenes. And by the way, it's probably redundant to say it, but so too is the media panicking behind the scenes, because they know that this kind of idiocy is going to probably doom the Democrat Party in the long term. It's going to, I think we are watching the slow suicide of the Democratic Party. And it's, I'm here for it, but I would prefer it that they tracked way hard to the center and stop being so absolutely radical. And they have a tendency to say that if you support Trump or something, you're a hard right winger. No, you're not. You're just a normal American that wants the government out of your business. And you know, there are things that we don't agree with on that Trump does. I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem. But it doesn't make me a hard right winger to say, between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, who do I think would be a better president? I mean, if you said Kamala Harris, you've lost the argument before the argument has even taken place, because that's just idiotic.
Yes.
But they are freaking out, aren't they, Michael?
You know, I think some of them are. I think the old guard is, because they're losing control. You know, and you kind of touched on this a minute ago. I think the DSA is they're a slow acting poison. You know, I don't think it's going to have a giant negative effect for the Democrats on the upcoming election. It will in some places, but even with Syed in Michigan, I'm not so much convinced it's him being DSA adjacent as much as him being an Islamist and, wanting to expand the caliphate to America and institute Sharia law, especially now that some of those videos are coming out. But I do think in the long term, either in the next cycle or the one after that, as you have more areas turn into just, flaming bags of dog shit like California and New York's gradually morphing into, as their policy continues to backfire in their faces, this will turn off a lot of left-leaning, middle-of-the-road voters. And without them, they can't win dog catcher in Walla Walla, Washington. And the Democrat Party itself has already shrunk. The only reason the Democrats are doing as good as they are right now in head-to-head polling, because their favorability is at negative 30 something percent. But the problem is, Republicans' favorability is only positive 1. And we've already seen low turnout. If it weren't for that, I mean, if the Republicans would have just been doing their job for the last 18 months, it wouldn't even be close. We'd be ready to expand the majority in most houses and probably push more of our agenda through. But they're weak-kneed, pickle-kissing losers. And doesn't mean that, unfortunately, just means the base isn't energized there either. Both political parties, I think, are very frustrated with the results they're getting right now.
I think you're right. And again, to your point about they'll do, some of these DSA candidates and other far left candidates may do well in their primaries in blue states and blue cities. I don't disagree with that at all. I think they will. I think the general election might be a different story, though. Certainly for El Said, I don't think he's going anywhere. But
yeah, he's going to lose.
But the thing is they've become the face of the Democrat Party.
Bingo.
And this is why James Carville is freaking out so much, because he sees it. Talking about somebody who's lost power. He's so, the Clinton years, it seems like decades and decades ago now. I mean, I guess it was a couple of decades ago, but it just seems like a lifetime ago. And for many of these young Gen Z and millennial voters, they don't give a damn about James David Axelrod's another one, but they don't give a damn about Axelrod. They don't give a damn about Carville. They don't care about these people. They care about the fact that they're frustrated, and Hassan Piker speaks to that frustration for them. Now, they don't understand that Hassan Piker hates them just as much as he hates everybody else, because they're too stupid and too thick to figure it out. But there you go.
I think one of the fears Carville or some, those more traditional, I don't even want to say blue dog Dems, because they're not. They're just power hungry. They just shift where necessary. Because remember, Carville was cheering this stuff on when AOC got elected, when other members of the squad, he was all for it. I think their fear is, and I was just trying to find this lady's name, but she's like a low-level staffer from Mamdani. I don't know if you saw this, where she got arrested the other day after running her car into a Porsche. But they're afraid one of these idiots, somebody's going to hand them a microphone, and they're going to make just borderline retarded comments like she did. Well, she's, I don't know. I thought she was drunk in the video. Maybe not. Maybe she's just stupid. But kind of like she's saying to this tow truck driver about eating the rich and all this, that now is our moment, and they won't be able to hide for much longer. They're worried that one of those, again, special people is going to be handed a microphone, allowed to speak on a major platform, and people are going to see it for what it is. That these are idiot college students that were not educated. They were indoctrinated. They've never done anything real. They're all a bunch of trust fund babies. And that they're just wrecking the world, because that is going to be the end result in New York. And, as long as we don't bail them out, Republicans, don't do that. It's time to let these blue cities and states burn. If they want to implement this kind of policy.
Let me jump in, because you just said something, some of these people that are the morons, let them speak, put them, platform the hell out of them. God knows we're going to do that. We're going to platform all the time that we can, because it is important that people see who these people really are. And again, we're going to clip we're going to move to cut 4 for this, just because you kind of set it up. But before we do that, let me just say this. The problem with these people is, as I've mentioned countless times, they are convinced that they are the smartest people in the world. They are convinced that they know. These are the same idiots that say real socialism has never been tried. Well, let's see. It's been around for about 250 years, and nobody's gotten it right yet. So I guess nobody's done it the way you guys, you geniuses, have done. Want to do it. It's the stupidity is just off the charts, and the jokes almost write themselves. And a case of that can be made for this girl, Nithya Raman. She is a
Nithya Raman.
Nithya, is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's Nikki Raman, the one that's running for LA mayor. Nithya is her real name.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. She is a clown, but because she's in LA, she can get away with this crap. Well, she was on local news, and I must say the reporter put it to her. And this is why we want to platform these people, folks, because when you hear how stupid they really are, even though they'll tell everybody they're smarter than anyone, when you hear it with your own ears, you can't believe that anyone would be stupid enough to vote for these people. But here you are. Here's Nikki Raman, again, DSA LA. And her goal is basically to abolish police and prisons. And this is how the conversation went the other day on a news set in LA.
That DSA takes. Let's talk about some of them. Your policy agenda on law enforcement is to defund police, ultimately to get rid of police departments, correct?
Well, what I would say is that we're dramatically overspending on police right now.
I understand. But the goal is to defund the police departments so we don't need them in the future.
I think what we really want to see is a horizon where folks are not reliant on armed enforcement to meet our public safety needs.
Right, but it says defund police on the website. That's your goal. And also to get rid of prisons and jails, correct?
Yes.
So if my daughter is assaulted and raped, is there any agency that would seek to find her assailant and bring him to justice?
Of course, yeah, of course.
What would it be if not police, and where would he be if not a jail?
So I guess I really want to avoid getting kind of caught into these hypotheticals and talk more about the reality that we're actually facing right now, which is that we're spending absolutely outrageous amounts of money on police and policing, and we're not spending money on things that actually make people safe and feel safe, which is things like actually well-lit streets. The streetlights in Los Angeles, everybody agrees it's a huge problem.
Was the cameraman drunk too? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I think that was somebody filming it on their phone and uploading it.
Oh, okay.
That's not Nikki Raman. That's one of her spokespeople.
Francesca, or is it Francesca or Francis Dill? Yeah, I watched this retard making a fool of herself on this interview, and another one, Not the Bee, had a great coverage of it. couple of days ago. But yeah, that's the problem. These DSA, these are, socialism is the opiate of the elites. They all believe this shit, but they've been sniffing their own farts for so long that they think that they have a fully developed plan. But the minute you try to pin them down on something, like, oh, I don't want to talk hypotheticals. I just want to talk about how.
And then she uses words like, "We look forward to a horizon where, well, look, civilization has been around, I don't know, 100,000 years plus. At what point have we ever gotten close to not needing law enforcement? I mean, it's like, you might as well say, and we also look forward to a day where we can all have government, the government is not going to have a program. We're going to give everybody a free unicorn. You're going to have your own special unicorn, and we're going to give you that, and we're going to give you gumdrops in your mailbox every day." I mean, it's just such a childish pipe dream that this chick is talking about.
Well, yeah.
And the problem is, young, college age, super educated liberals, they believe this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they fall for it.
It's the economic and social policy of a 6-year-old. That's exactly what it is. Wouldn't it be nice if everybody just had what they needed and nobody was hungry? Yeah, that would be nice. It just can't. Unfortunately, the real world doesn't work that way because we have too many retards out there that mess things up for everybody else. A lot of these retards belong in jail. If we would start actually, I've been thinking about this more and more for whatever reason for about the last week or 2 weeks now, that this 3-strike policy in California, maybe we need to take another look at that we need to implement this nationwide, and we can clean it up because some of the objections to it before, I understand, somebody had a rough, made a bunch of mistakes when they were younger and ended up in jail a few times. Now they're 56 years old and they get a domestic battery. We probably don't need to put that person in jail for the rest of their life. But these people that commit multiple 78 arrests and then you set some woman on fire on the L train. What was that person ever doing out of jail? If you have 3 violent offenses and under 10 years, lock them up, bury them under the jail, make sure they never get out, no appeal, no anything. And maybe some of this stuff would problems would start to go away.
Yeah, maybe. But it really is. Doesn't it just, now you know why people like David Axelrod and James Carville and the Bill Maher's of the world, and now you know why they're losing their mind. Because if they say, all the energies in the left on the party, on the Democrat Party, that's why they're freaking out, because it's true. All the energy is coming from the left, and all of the ones providing that energy are batshit crazy. Like this chick, like Hassan Piker, like El Sayed, like, I'll give you another one. Peggy Flanagan. She's running for Senate. She's the Democrat nominee for Senate. She'll be taking on Michelle Tafoya, the Republican nominee for the Senate. Minnesota, of course, has been blue for decade after decade after decade. Home of Hubert Humphrey, home of Walter Mondale. It's always been Democrat. But this is far, far, far left where they're at now. And Peggy Flanagan, this is her, absolutely pandering to the most corrupt diaspora community in the United States of America. That would be Little Mogadishu in Minneapolis. And here she is pandering to these people who absolutely have stolen hundreds of millions of dollars from U.S. taxpayers, and they don't want anybody to talk about that. So what does Peggy do? She goes there wearing a hijab, and she embraces the fraudsters. What clip is that, Michael? It's
3.
Assalamu alaikum. My name's Peggy Flanagan. I am the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, and I'm really honored and humbled to be here with all of you today. I am incredibly clear that the Somali community is part of the fabric of the state of Minnesota. I think about my friendship with Nimco. We've been friends for almost 25 years. And when I think of being part of Minnesota and growing up here, the Somali community has always been a part of my Minnesota. So I want to just encourage the community to know that we're with you. We've got your back. I am here shopping today, and just encourage other folks to show up, support our Somali businesses, support our immigrant neighbors. And I know that things are scary right now. And just know that there are more people.
I know things are scary right now. I know you got caught. I know you
Yeah.
got caught stealing millions and millions and millions of dollars. But we've got your back. Just like Keith Ellison has your back. Just like Tim Walz had your back. We're going to let you get away with the fraud. But remember, vote for me in November. Because if the other guy, or if Michelle Tafoya wins, she will not have your back. She will not allow you to get away with fraud.
Yeah, and she's the one that they say they have direct connections into her office connected to the Somali fraud. She's also the one that wore the Protect Trans Kids shirt with the knife after it, after one of these assault trannies went nuts and killed a bunch of kids. And I'm just trying to see which one it was. Yeah.
She's absolutely, now she's not a DSA member, but I mean, if your choice is between a DSA member and her, what do you do? I would stay home. I wouldn't. I mean, and I'm not a Democrat. I would be voting for Michelle Tafoya is what I'd be doing. But who knows? Minnesota is as blue gets, and has been for years and years and years. But this is just insanity.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to think that a lot of people in Minnesota look at the Somali community with absolute disdain after everything that has come out about how they've screwed. And it's not just Minnesota taxpayers. They were screwing federal taxpayers as well. And I just, it's just so corrupt. It's so obviously laughably corrupt. And this woman is just pandering to them. And I do hope some stuff comes out about her long before the general election, because, let's ring her up too. She's corrupt as a core.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm not surprised. And again, I hope they make an arrest. I hope they really do have. Well, I know that they said before was they had some of the whistleblowers that came forward about these programs. It came out specifically about her and her knowledge of what was going on and potential kickbacks and other things. So, again, arrest her. I'm glad we can get some of these Somali pirates. That's good. But you got to grab the people like Michelle or like whatever her name is.
Peggy Flanagan.
Peggy Flanagan. You got to make those arrests. People have to pay for these crimes, or they will continue to fail upwards, and eventually the Democrats will want her for president.
Hey, as much as I hate to say it, she'd have been a better candidate than Kamala was. But
probably
the bar is very, very low there. But yeah, this is the kind of nut that white liberal female college grads can get behind.
The awfuls.
Yeah, that's right. And I just how anybody could feel intellectually, much less morally superior for voting for someone like this. They have lost their way, man. It's crazy.
Well, don't you know? I mean, these poor Somali Muslims, they just didn't understand. They're oppressed. It's all about white supremacy. We wouldn't care about any of this fraud if they weren't black. That's the only reason we want our pound of flesh and we want them to go to jail. It's only because they're black and they're Muslim, and otherwise we wouldn't care. If this was a bunch of Italians that immigrated here, we're ripping off the Medicaid system, we wouldn't care. Maybe we'd cut off the funds, but it's because they're Somalis, because we're a racist nation built on stolen land, Turtle Island forever.
Yeah, right. And I'll tell you something. Italians did try it. They called it the mafia.
The mafia, yeah.
And Rudy Giuliani rang up almost every one of them on RICO charges, and now the mafia is a pittance compared to what it was. So yeah, some people are ballsy enough to make some arrests, and Giuliani cleaned up New York City, cleaned up the mafia, and did all of that. And now, of course, they hate him. They hate him because he was Trump adjacent. So they despise Rudy now. Go ahead.
And it's really the election fraud stuff. But maybe Hong, whatever her name is, maybe she needs to reach out to Rudy Giuliani right now. Maybe she can better understand what just happened to her.
She got burnied, man. She
Yeah.
got burnied. And I'm telling you, and the reason I mentioned we started with Francesca Hong in Wisconsin is first of all, it reveals a couple of things, this whole story. It reveals never trust the polls. Whenever I see people saying, oh, well, the polls look like that. Hey, listen, Kamala Harris was double digits ahead of Trump before the election. So I don't believe any of the polls. But beyond that, it also proves that Democrats will absolutely pull some levers to get the nominee they wanted. They did it with Hillary Clinton. They didn't even nominate Kamala. They just shoehorned her in when Joe screwed up that debate so badly. And the Democrat Party has they have no concern for what their base wants. They're going to do what they want because they are power hungry. And Democrat voters, I don't know why, but they're just too, I guess they live in these little insular bubbles or something, and they can't see that they've been ridden roughshod over for the last 10 years, for God's sakes. And it looks like they just did it to this Francesca Hong. Well, but we mentioned how scared the Democrats, the behind the scenes, big establishment Dems are freaking out about all this, and they should be freaking out about all this. So what was his name? Michael LaRosa. And of course, Michael LaRosa used to be Jill Biden's spokesperson. He's a Dem strategist, and he's a media guy personality that they always bring on. He was on Fox News, and just to let you know, this guy, when you listen to him, you are listening to what is going on behind the scenes in DNC headquarters because they are freaking out. Let's go with that cut. I think it's cut 5.
I want the Democrats to win. I think they're going to win the Senate. I think they're going to win the House. I want Chuck Schumer and Brian Schatz to be the next majority leaders. I want to do it without El Sayed. And that can be done. But this isn't what I signed up for. Totenkopf and SS and defending it and then defending. And Hassan Piker is just not the leader of my party. And it's okay for Democrats to say that. My old boss, Chris Matthews, was on TV this morning saying Democrats just need to do the hard part for politicians, which is sometimes standing up to your friends.
Right. Having a spine. All right, gentlemen, thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think he'll probably be attacked as a white supremacist or something else next. He's the one that's going to end up getting pushed out of the party because the power is not with the establishment. It's not with the structure in the Democrats or in the Republicans. So instead, they're going to say, the real reason is he's racist or he's Islamophobic or whatever, and you shouldn't listen to what he says. That he will be the one unpersoned because of this.
And the thing is he says there in that clip, I want to see Schumer in a leadership position. Well, here you go. This just in from Yahoo News. Actually, I think it's Fox News. But I just Googled it because while that clip was playing. Progressives again scored a victory in Minnesota where Governor Tim Walz's second in command toppled the establishment-backed member of Congress, Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, eked out a victory. We just shared some of her idiocy. She eked out a victory over Representative Angie Craig. Angie Craig had the full backing of Schumer. So the party isn't listening to Schumer anymore because, again, that's not where the energy is. The energy is with the very people that Michael LaRosa just bitched about. The energy is with Piker. The energy is with Flanagan. The energy was with Hong. Now she's done. The energy is with El Sayed. El Sayed, I don't know how you say his name.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. He'll be a footnote to a footnote in history before long. But the energy is with the Zoran Mandamis of the world. And the AOCs of the world. Why do you think AOC is trying to rebrand herself as Woke 2.0, which is even worse than Woke 1.0, as far as I can tell? It's pretty much the same thing. But what do you think? What do you think that they're? I mean, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in a meeting of the higher ups at the DNC just to hear what they're saying, because I know that they got to be freaking out about all this.
I'm sure they are, because they've lost control of the monster they made. Um, they were all behind this. This was the new hotness. You remember Nancy Pelosi snuggling up to AOC when she was first in Congress? This is the
And
future
Rashida
leader.
Tlaib and By the way, Ilhan Omar in Minnesota. This tells you how batshit crazy Minnesota is. She won her reelection bid, so she'll be in there again. And of course, that's the Somali community that Peggy Flanagan loves so much that voted her in. That's her district there. So obviously she's going to win. She's the only Somali on the ballot.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's another one that ought to be rung up for fraud. And she went from like a net worth of over $30 million. And then as soon as an investigation started, her net worth plummeted to about $120,000.
Yeah, well, AOC right now, she's freezing her eggs and broke up with her longtime fiance so she can take a run in 2028, it sounds like. And I'm all there for it. I mean, that's the thing, is she's not going to be able to handle a real debate. She's going to get her clock cleaned when she's on stage and freaks out. I think even with the media's help. But again, this is why we've got to start fighting to win on our side. The Democrats are going to implode on their own. I'm down for it. I'll be here to watch. They chose to embrace this kind of policy. They thought this was the route to go. It's intersectionality all over again. But I think those days are over for them. I wish the Republicans could get their stuff together, because there's so many opportunities for victory right now, but we're just blowing every single one of them.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it's not enough that the Democrats are destroying themselves if the Republicans are doing nothing to take advantage of the situation. I couldn't agree with you more on that. Republicans really need, I mean, some Republicans are outspoken and saying the right things, but the people that we need to, the John Thunes of the world, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
They're the ones that aren't doing a damn thing. I would much rather see Ron Johnson in that role, but whatever. I just find the whole damn, the whole Republican Party is just kind of going, okay, we can just breathe a sigh of relief because Hassan Piker made a tweet. Oh, we can really cool our jets. We don't have to sweat all this stuff because Peggy Flanagan is wearing a hijab today. That's just not a strategy. That's not leadership. We talked about that the other day. And I think you're right. But I do think that, and as you and Derek so rightly call them normies, I do think the normies are going to take notice of this. They may not, most of the normies don't know all the ins and outs and all that, because they just kind of they look at it and they go, okay, well, I'm not voting for this guy, or I am voting for that gal, or whatever. But I think as they get more and more of this, more doses, little microdoses of Peggy Flanagan, and more microdoses of Hassan Piker, and all the rest of their losers over there, that they're going to start saying, okay, look, I don't know much about the Republican, but I'm sure as hell not voting for the Democrat. Fingers crossed. But you need a lot more than that if you're the Republican majority right now.
And like I said, I think that is what's going to happen eventually, but I think it's going to take 2 or 4 years of their insanity before it sinks in enough, because we also got to remember, like, you and I pay attention to this stuff. Local media hides this stuff. I mean, look at how well James Talrico is doing down in Texas. Then he's neck and neck with Paxton. But that's because their media is ignoring his past. They ignore the things he said, anything that's controversial, and he's always put in a positive light with a positive spin. It's going to take a while for to break through and break that media narrative machine and get the truth out to people. Same with our schools. We wouldn't have the people voting for this stuff. We were just actually educating people instead of indoctrinating them. So there's a bunch of facets to this problem, and we're not there yet.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And it's going to be, it is. I mean, I'll tell you what, it makes our job very easy. I mean, hell's bells. We can just go, what do you want to talk about today? I don't know. What has Hassan Piker said lately?
What's the latest nonsense to come out of some blue hair moonbat's mouth? It's most of the country doesn't see the ghoulishness either. Which state was it that just did the abortion? Was it New Jersey? Was it New Jersey? Massachusetts.
Up to day of birth, and they.
Yeah.
I mean, that's infanticide, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty soon it's going to be they're fighting for there. So there's already literally been proposals for retroactive abortions up to 3 months after a baby's born in California and Colorado. They haven't made it through yet, but I mean this is who these people are. The media is going to continue to cover for them. I think a lot of your average middle of the road voters don't know how deranged the Democrats have become. They're just not happy with the way things are right now with prices at the pump and prices at the grocery store. And they think Trump's a big meanie for going after dictators. But again, if we had an even remotely honest media, no one would care about that. They'd be looking at the real problems we're facing right now and being like, well, you know what, this DSA and stuff is a bunch of nonsense, but we do need to get prices under control. We need to, continue with the deportations. I mean, I guess that's what kills me is the media will change on a dime and forget they ever said what they just said. There's zero consistency.
Well, look, we can make the claim that they're all a bunch of hypocrites, but that's redundant. Of course, they're hypocrites.
Yes.
And liars. I mean, I'll give you an example of it. Just as I just sitting here thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Zoran Mandami in New York City threatened a couple of weeks ago that he was going to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if he steps foot in New York. That, of course, is a joke. Trump basically just said, "You can go pound sand, buddy. That's never going to happen." And of course, it won't. So Mandami has to walk it back. But he's ready to arrest him. He's ready to arrest him. But he will rush to the defense of Nicolas Maduro.
Yes.
How dare you arrest a democratically elected leader of a state? Well, which is a joke. Just to even think that he was
democratically elected.
That's a joke. But one thing we can say, Benjamin Netanyahu, he was democratically elected. That's a fact. But this is just who they are. They do cozy up to, just like Hassan Piker taking money from the CCP and Cuba. This is who they are. They will always embrace the hard authoritarian leftist despots and dictators, and they will throw anybody else under the bus, especially if they're a Jew like Bibi.
Or Chuck Schumer.
Or Chuck Schumer. Yeah, Chuck Schumer. There you go. Yeah, Chuck, you happy you backed all these people? I mean, good God. I remember it, man, like it was yesterday when the squad first came in and Pelosi rolled out the red carpet for them. And put them on all these committee seats and chairs and I remember on my old radio show going, I don't know what this woman is thinking, but these people are going to take over the party. Here we are, but not even a decade later, and they have taken over the party.
Yep.
Anyway, by the way, before we leave, I just want to say, before we came on the air, it was announced that Caroline Leavitt is leaving the press secretary role to spend time with her new baby and the family, and who can blame her for that? Good for her. Boy, she's going to be missed, though. She's really good.
Oh, man. You know who they need to fill in? Stephen Miller. He did it for a couple days before, in between. The media, they just loved it. They couldn't get enough of him. So I think we need to bring him back for their own good. Or Kylie McElhaney again. She was awesome.
Yeah, she was good. She was very good.
Or Alex Jones. I like that idea, too.
She's got her Fox gig. She doesn't need it. But, I mean, yeah, they're going to have to get somebody good. And we were talking about it off air, that really you can go all the way back to, what's her name? I always forget the chick's name. Governor of Arkansas.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Huckabee Sanders now. She's looking good. She's obviously done the Ozempic route. She's looking a lot better. But she was a very good press secretary. Sean Spicer, maybe not so much. I mean, he was good, but
he was okay.
He was just okay. He was the worst of them.
Well, and even Huckabee, she was too nice. I think we either need a Stephen Miller or Alex Jones. Something like that.
Alex Jones.
Let's take a question from the globalists at NBC.
Yeah, that's a false flag. Well, anything else important to impart upon our viewers here?
I really think we need to be stoking the fury of the left right now over this election in Milwaukee. It should be our job to help sow division amongst their ranks. We need to introduce them to a lot of the evidence of fraud in 2020. Because, there's a lot of echoes of that in what we're seeing now with these, gosh darn it, these 5 malfunctioning flash drives and the ballot drops and dumps and all that. And
it's human. It could have happened to anybody. The fact that she was 12 or 13 points up of her closest competitor and then she lost, it's perfectly normal.
It happens all the time.
It happens all the time. It just happens. Joe Biden decided he's going to step out. So we're just going to insert Kamala. God, I don't know why Democrat voters don't wisen up. This is why they push the Trump hate so much. Because they know that their base is just stupid enough that if they have enough hatred for Trump, they'll ignore everything that's wrong with their own party.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just crazy. All right. Well, listen, Michael, thank you very much for joining us. I want to thank you for being a part of Right Hook Podcast. We're going to do it again next Wednesday. And, of course, Monday, I'll be on with you again, Michael, for the insurrection. And
oh, yeah.
Forward to that. Until then, have a wonderful day, everybody. Goodbye.